All right, welcome to a mini halfway through the week episode of the Comedy's Dead podcast. Because I appear to have pissed off both sides pretty effectively over the last week. And, I've actually, the weird thing is a lot of people reached out to say that they agreed with a lot of the things I was saying, but a lot of people, not a lot of people, a couple people I'm close with were very upset with my stances, and I figured I should clarify a couple things because I failed to articulate my stance on voting the other day, and it really angered some people. Here's the thing, I obviously support voting, alright? I'm not that much of a fucking asshole, okay? I'm not that nihilistic. I think, you're forced to choose the lesser of two evils, alright? You're never actually going to get a candidate that represents your beliefs. I really don't, okay? It's just that is all it comes down to, is you can't say you're protecting democracy and then rig two primaries in a row, one of which Bernie had handedly, and they were just like, actually, the superdelegates will outweigh him if he wins the next couple states, so you should all just vote for Kamala anyways, right? Kamala, Hillary anyways. And then, instead of reaching out to people across the aisle and say, here's how we're going to help, the average American, they consolidated around neocons and war criminals and became a super party of neocons and neolibs when everybody in the entire country was saying that is exactly the people we hate in this country. That was my, I live in Massachusetts. We are one of the two states that voted for McGovern, okay? I know exactly who my state is going to vote with. So to me, not voting in this state, I'm not talking about swing states, I'm not talking about down ballot voting, I'm not talking about the House, the Senate, my local elections, the props, placed on the ballot. You should absolutely vote for those things. But if your vote is not going to actually be counted towards the Electoral College, if you know for a fact that your vote is going towards literally just the popular vote, not putting yourself into the popular vote is in itself an act of conscientious objection. Okay, that was my stance on voting. All right, I just don't want to vote for two people who don't believe in democracy. That's it. I actually, believe in our freedom to express our voices and express our rights. And saying that not voting for the person that you want is a vote for the other person is not, quite literally, just not how math works, okay? Because the other side could say the exact same fucking thing. All right, that's all I was saying. All right, if I was in a swing state, if I was in Pennsylvania or Wisconsin or Michigan or any of those states, of course I was going to vote one way, and you guys all fucking know which one way because I'm a fucking leftist, okay? I'm more of a left libertarian than anything, all right? But that's where it was gonna go. I believe in social programs and government regulation of these fucking oligarchs, but I also think that they should stop telling you what to do all the time, okay? That's all it is. It is pretty simple. I believe in terms of personal freedom. I don't believe in business's freedom. Okay, that's all it is. Except my stances, realistically, are pretty two-sided. The people who say they believe in personal freedom want to tell you what to call yourself and how to dress, and then the people who say that they're for human rights, they get mad at you for doing what you want. And they tell social media companies that you can't spread certain information. All right, I think that's an issue too. All right, I think both sides are full of shit, and I think one's worse. And I think not voting for either of them, when I know my vote isn't going to be counted, is simply an act of protest. And that's all it is, But to say that you're a disaffected white man who does, it's like you don't think the EPA and the FDA and the regulation of the banks and the oil companies and workers' rights, overtime, Social Security, Medicare, you don't think those things affect me? They affect everybody. Housing regulation, they affect every single one of us, all right? Obviously, certain issues affect other people more, and realistically, all the issues I just described affect marginalized people way more than they affect me. But that's not to say that they don't affect me, okay? I make $60,000 in Massachusetts, and I can't afford to fucking live with a car bill and student loans and, the amount of gas I spend fucking doing comedy. the amount of car repairs I've had to do in the last couple months. Do you really fucking think this shit doesn't affect me? Of course it does. And that it's just, and that was my exact point last episode with the fact that the Democratic Party's messaging is literally just demonizing one group of people who happens to be the largest voter base in the country, instead of trying to go, hey, here's how, we could help you. Because guess what? I was raised with a lot of these people who should be progressives, but are voting against their own self-interest for him because he's speaking to them, regardless of whether or not they're intelligent enough to know that he's a fucking wolf in sheep's clothing, okay? My brother is a fucking moron just like them, okay? I know exactly how these people think, all right? I went to school in the fucking South, all right? I've met so many, I've traveled across the country. I've met every single type of person. I swear to God. These people are not informed. They don't know what they're fucking talking about. Have you ever walked through a mall or an airport? All right, those people are who's voting against you or for you. Those people are voting. Okay, that's terrifying. That their voice matters just as much as somebody who's actually informed. Okay, all most people have ever wanted in a presidential election is to vote for the most charismatic person who's gonna be their big daddy and save the day. That's it. They just want Papa to tell them everything's okay, and that's terrifying. That's every country that is. It's no matter who's on the ballot, it does not matter what the policy is. It's charisma and it's confidence and not arrogance like fucking Hillary Clinton, but actual, suaveness. It's Riz. That's it. That's who wins. Biden was more charming than Trump. Trump sounded like an idiot next to Biden. Hillary looked like a fucking clown next to him. Kamala Harris did not talk about policy at all outside of abortion. All she did was talk about how bad of a person he is. And the average person goes, yeah, you're supporting genocide. You're both terrible people, okay? You're both monsters. So how is your policy going to affect me? And he just said, I'm going to help you, and didn't really clarify because he doesn't know how to, because he's not actually going to help you. But, that's all it was. It was just... People want effective messaging that reaches across the aisle rather than for the working class, and not reaching across the aisle for the fucking top 10% of earners in this country. Really? Does Liz Cheney gonna fucking help? Is she gonna get the fucking populist vote? The daughter of one of the worst war criminals the world has ever seen? You really think that's gonna help win you the election? I mean, how am I the asshole for being like, nah, fuck these people, okay? If I was in a swing state, yeah, I would feel very differently about this, and that's what I wanted to clarify, is, but my vote was not going to be counted towards anything besides the popular vote, and I am very glad that I did not help her in the popular vote, because she's not popular, and there's a reason for that, all right? These people, she was not democratically placed into the electoral nomination. She polled 5th in the 2020 primaries, okay? She's not a popular candidate. She is not somebody that anybody asked for, okay? And guess what? Donald Trump being elected is going to destroy this country. I genuinely believe that. He's going to deregulate everything and turn everything into modern feudalism. He's going to... the country of Ukraine's fucked. Yeah, fucked. And by the way, the people who are like, we're throwing our money away at them, it's like, no, it's a land lease program. We're giving them weapons in exchange for land. We are going to, if they win, we are going to control the breadbasket of Europe. None of you know what you're talking about, okay? And I don't want to talk about this shit because I'm not here to preach, okay? I'm a fucking comedian. I will tell you what's wrong. I will never tell you how to fix it because I don't fucking know, all right? I am an idiot too. I'm a slightly informed idiot, but I'm an idiot, okay? And we all are. Most people are fucking... Guess what? That's really why I don't have hope, is because you see who you grow up with and the jobs they get, and you go, oh, everybody who is an adult is just a child playing dress-up, pretending to be an adult. That's what we are. We're all large children. Okay? I don't think that there's a mass conspiracy of politicians. I think they genuinely just don't really know what they're doing and are pretending. Okay? The amount of people who think there's like a deep state or some like covert thing that's trying to fuck them over, it's like, no, it's just these people are bumbling idiots. Like, nobody really knows what they're fucking talking about, okay? The difference is those people just act charismatic and crave power because that's what narcissists and sociopaths want. And that's how things happen. Why am I the asshole for pointing that out? You know? I don't get that. I pissed off both sides of the aisle, which is pretty impressive, actually. Thank you very much. But I think if you're going to be an actually independent voice, that's what you should be doing. Is going, hey, here's why you're both wrong. And people are going to say that's regressive and that you're just hurting the positive cause instead of helping it. It's like, no, I think honest self-criticism is how you actually help your side. You know? You're going, hey, here's why I think our messaging is wrong and is actively causing people to become radicalized, okay? You want to talk about why people are becoming neo-Nazis and Gen Z? It's like, yeah, because their lives suck. They're miserable. They're increasingly being forced apart from each other due to social media and due to messaging. And the way that, you know, their angst and pain, and they're really just depressed people with no fucking self-esteem. And the way that they're then being demonized and saying that they are a problem, that they're the biggest danger of people for you know, being depressed and not relating to people is what is radicalizing them. That's what's causing school shooters. Is when somebody is upset and angry, they're looking for a community that, you know, and lonely. That's really all it is. It's a loneliness epidemic, right? And instead of people going, hey, you know, like, this is a problem, we should help you, they go, they mock them, and then they go, hey, this is why you're the problem, and then they're like, oh, I'll show you the problem. That's how it works, okay? You know, and that's all I'm saying is instead of demonizing the largest voting demographic in the country, you should go, hey, here's why we can help you too. That's it. That's all I was fucking saying. And it's just, I knew the second I posted that, it was going to be twisted into something it wasn't by people who, like, live in these echo chambers online where everybody already agrees with them. Because that's what the other side is doing too, right? That's the problem with social media, is you get an algorithm that just tells you what you already want to hear. If you don't actually know people across the aisle, you're not actually getting a full perspective, okay? That's the problem. That is the huge problem in this country, is nobody's looking for unbalanced information. Nobody's looking to go, okay, let me read an article from the other side and hear their perspective, and then let me find ways to rebut that in a constructive and non-aggressive way. They just start yelling about how other people are the issue. You know? It's... You don't fucking fight hate with hate. You fight hate with kindness. You know? You teach them not to hate you. You don't fucking... It's just, that's all I was fucking saying. And I didn't articulate that well on Instagram or the podcast because it was a pretty heightened emotional time yesterday. But here is, you know, this is just my balanced perspective. Is as somebody whose views I really don't think I can label myself politically, because I'm in some ways a huge leftist and in some ways a libertarian, and you know, it's yeah, it's the world is too complex. It's not black and white. That's all I've ever been saying. It's just you cannot look at politics black and white. And I say that as somebody who was absolutely the most loud, in-your-face, card-carrying, whatever, until I lived in Louisiana for 2 years, and I realized that life was a lot more complex than I thought it was. You know. It's like when you go on fucking line, the rhetoric is just like, this is all straight white men's fault. It's like, really? You don't think this would happen in any other place where the people were a different color? You don't think that it, like, is that what explains 1945 Japan? Is that what explains Genghis Khan? Guess what? The world before the Age of Empires was conquer or be conquered. That's how it worked, you know? And the only reason it happened to be white people was because Europe happens to be really great grounds for crop growth. And the more you were able to grow profitable crops, the more you were able to grow as a society more quickly. You know, that's all it was. Whoever controlled grain in the world was able to feed their citizens a lot easier. And then therefore be more productive in work. And then slowly over time, the more productive work is, the more civilization grows and the more power you're able to grow, because the more civilization grows, the less hard work you have to do, the more time you have to spend thinking of other shit and designing new ideas. Okay? It has nothing to do with fucking eugenics. It was just crops. Alright? It has nothing to do with, like, inherent whatever. Every culture was racist until recently. That's how the world worked. Everybody is afraid of others. You know? That's the sad part of reality is we're fucking animals, okay? We are tribal animals. We go, this is mine, I don't want you to have it. I'm gonna go take your shit, because if you have less shit, then you don't have the power to take shit from me. That's all things have ever been. And I don't understand why, if I say that, I'm part of the problem. Because I'm literally diagnosing why both sides are creating this problem, okay? You are both, the more you demonize each other, the less common ground we have, okay? And if you just live in a fucking echo tank, you know, nothing's ever going to get done. And should I be posting all these thoughts online for everybody to hear? No, I am actively going to be losing myself pussy and booking opportunities, okay? That's how it works. But, you know, I kind of have to do it, right? You gotta post the shit you're thinking. I'm not here to be a preacher. I've always said that. And by always, I mean in the last 4.5 episodes, okay? I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm going to tell you what I think is wrong, but I'm not going to try to change your mind. Because why should you believe me? But it's just, it's frustrating where if you criticize both sides go, you're on the other side. It's not how that works. That's really not how that fucking works. At the end of the day, we're all a bunch of apes on a floating rock that are gonna die well before the floating rock is destroyed. So all of this is transient, and it's constantly trying to antagonize anybody who disagrees with you is never going to get your side on anybody on your side. That's all it is. If you effectively try to go, hey, here's how things are gonna this is gonna help you and this is gonna hurt you, you got a great chance. If instead of partnering with the neocons and the warhawks, she was like, hey, here's how we're going to get our money out of these places and stop committing genocide, and here's how my policies are going to affect business and make sure that you have lower taxes and help other people, right? Because she's going to cut your taxes and he's going to raise your taxes unless your family makes $360,000 a year. But nobody knows that because nobody messaged that. Because that's not how it worked. He just went orange man bad, and then we're shocked that everybody was like, hey, I think you're a piece of shit too, okay? I think you were one of the most ruthless DAs in California history, who then partnered with a president who was complicit in genocide, and somehow, just somehow, everybody wasn't cool with that. Isn't that crazy? If we're both bad people, how are you both? I don't give a shit. And, I do give a shit. I give a lot of shits. I really am scared, not really just for the country, but for the world, with 40 years of a conservative Supreme Court. I think we're fucked. I think we're all fucked, okay? And if I lived in a swing state, I would have made my voice heard in that matter. But I made my voice heard by saying, hey, this dog and pony show is your fault, not mine, all right? If there was a primary to vote in, I always vote in the primaries. I vote down ballot every time. But I can't bring myself to support the lesser of two evils when I did my part and, spoke up for people who actually are going to try to make a difference years before, and guess what? They effectively rigged, the country against those people. It's like, you just didn't vote for her because you're a woman. It's like, yeah, if it was Elizabeth Warren, I would have voted for her. I think AOC is pretty naive. I would have voted for her. I'm not going to fucking vote for a warhawk, when my state's vote doesn't matter. My vote within my state doesn't matter, okay? I would have voted for the lesser of two evils, like I said. But that's not how it worked. I'm not in the swing state, all right? That's all it was. So yeah, I thought I needed to clarify those things because at the end of the day, people we're going to be upset either way. But I do think, you know, people say you should make your voice heard until your voice disagrees with what they think. And then they're like, well, shut the fuck up, you're a piece of shit. You know, so I'm going to keep pissing people off. That's all I'm going to do, you know. And I'm going to try to be funny about it, because that's how this works. So yeah, listen to another episode next week where I do not fucking talk about politics. The only reason I'm putting this out is because I realized that I wanted to clarify myself, and I wasn't going to do it on the next episode. So yeah, if you listen to this, thanks, I guess. You know, feel free to disagree with me. But it seemed like what I posted, a lot of people really agreed and were happy that I said something that actually connected with them, which is crazy that people are listening to what I have to say. But please keep listening so I could one day get monetized. You know, that would be nice to be successful in my career. But otherwise, this is just an exercise of me angering people. And, you know, that's most of what me doing open mics is too, so whatever. Have a good rest of your week. I will be back next Wednesday. Peace out.